Are we sufficiently crispy? Are we crispy, crunchy chicken today? Well, actually, crunchy is a bad connotation. I upped the bitrate by another 1,000 because I've got better internet now. I actually should check if I'm outputting on 720 or 1080, but I also don't think I have built-in stream quality options, so I might just stick with 720 because it's the one that more people are able to watch. Because let's be honest, you need pretty decent internet to watch, 1080p stream, you know? Definitely a bigger investment. But yeah, I fought my ISP today and I won. They cut my bill damn near almost in half, and gave me better features. And woohoo, let's go! I don't have to switch to fiber yet, but I can still keep that fiber in my back pocket in case I ever get screwed over by my current ISP. It's like, oh, you're gonna screw me over? Well, what about this? I just pull out like the new customer deals for TDS fiber. Good times. Anyway, I need to put my new phone. I got a new cell phone too as part of this whole process today, so that's fun. But I gotta put it down. Let's actually check it quick. I was told by the guy that I might need to every so often kind of smooth out this protective cover just to make sure that it settles in correct. Glues down right. Perfect. All right. How do we want to do this? Let's open up a window here and let's pull up. Let's pull up our old buddy. You better not ask me to log in. Okay, doesn't look like it is. Let's see, what's a good one here? Got one that's red and blue by any chance? They got Christmas options. They've got horses. Start with AI. How about you start with my foot up your ass? I'm just making sure I can use this one. I think we can. Alright, let's go ahead and capture this window then. Boop. Behold, a bingo card! I don't think this lets me customize what's in it, though? So actually, hold on. Does this one? This one want me to, like... Yeah, okay, not that one. Must be Bingo Baker! I do this so often, you would think that I would just, like... Yeah, okay, this is the one I always use. I should just, like... I should just, like, favorite this. Alright. Pokemon Presents 30th. Can I zoom this in? I can. Good. Alright. Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's get a more thematically appropriate, playlist going. Let's see. Winter Pokemon. Oh, hey, every hour theme in Animal Crossing Cherry Blossom variants. Fuck you, Pokemon. It's a little early for Cherry Blossom season, but I also do not care. Alright. Alright. I think we all know what's going in our free space this year. And that is... the already spoiled by Nintendo accidentally putting it on the eShop early Fire Red Leaf Green for Switch 2. Freest free space to ever have freed. I think of a funny one for the top there. Alright, so yeah, that's absolutely the freest space to ever have freed. That's like... it's even gold. That's how free it is. Alright. Now, for actual stuff of record. Thankfully, this card gets randomized at the end, so I don't have to actually, like, think about order or anything. I think. Okay, generate with the generate button. So. We need to come up with a bunch of shit that's going to be announced on Friday. Obviously, let's just start with the obvious. I considered making this the free space because I think it's that, like, if Gen 10 is not announced at this event, then it is not coming out this year. That is how abso-freaking-lutely certain I am that it is going to be announced on Friday. They have... I'm trying to think the last time Game Freak has announced a new generation of Pokemon not at a Pokemon Presents. They did it for 9. I'm pretty sure they did it for 8. You might have to go back to 7. It's probably Gen 7. Like, you have... either way, you have to go back to the 3DS to go back to a time when they weren't always announcing generations at their own event. And in fact, I think even Gen 7 might have been announced at a Pokemon Presents. Like, when was the... even better question, when was the last time a Pokemon new generation was announced in just a generic Nintendo Direct? You probably have to go back to the days when... well, going back to 3DS is going back to when E3 was relevant, but, like... I think you need to go back to, like, the heyday of E3. I'm talking, like... Gen 6, maybe? Like, it has been a long-ass time. Over a decade since that has happened. Like... it's been pretty much a decade since they've probably announced a generation not at a Pokemon Day Direct. Like, if Gen 10 is not at this event, Gen 10 is not happening until next year, is basically what that says. But there are a million things that could be said about Gen 10. I've seen leaks. You guys have probably seen leaks. So I'm gonna try and avoid two major things that have been leaked. Which is that, number one, the names have reportedly been leaked. And number two, the region's inspiration has reportedly been leaked. Beyond that has been kind of a hodgepodge of, like, rumors more than, like, direct leaks. There has been, like, some, like, height maps have been leaked that people have, like, put into, like, a mapping program, and, like, it spat out, like, a very rough, like, I'm talking, like, pre-alpha even kind of map of the region. Like, pre-alpha is generous. Pre-alpha implies there's something playable. This is, like, probably, like, the second stage of evolution for a region that probably went through 5 to 10 iterations before it was done. That's how out of date it is. But yeah. I'm gonna avoid at least, like, the... So that's why there's not gonna be any squares here for the region's names or, like, the region's inspiration. Like, we're just gonna kind of sweep those aside. One thing I am going to do, though, and this is gonna piss off, if this is true, this is gonna piss off so many fans. I think the color scheme is gonna be... Well, no, not red and green, sorry. Blue and green. Based on what I know the names to be, and the fact that this is the big 30th anniversary, I think the games are going to color scheme as blue and green. It's not the, like, red and green or red and blue that we're familiar with, so it's just different enough that Game Freak can get away with it. Like how, you know, Violet isn't exactly blue, therefore Gen 9 didn't just reuse the Gen 1 colors. Like, I think, and this ties into a bigger thing, I think from now on, every generation of Pokemon is going to be red, blue, green, or yellow. Pick two. I don't think they're ever going to do another color again. That's what I believe. Because I think Game Freak is so far up the... Looking at that center square, and that price tag, I'm like, Game Freak is so far up their own ass when it comes to nostalgia, they are only ever going to make their games the Gen 1 colors ever again. They will find excuses for it to always be either red, blue, green, or yellow. By the way, if you can't tell already, 20 minutes in, and if you haven't figured it out yet, this is not going to be the world's most optimistic bingo card. If you're out here expecting me to put down new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, you're not going to get it. It's actually, I'm going to put it... I don't think it's going to happen, but I will just... I'll write it down there for the fans. This bonus row is just like the for the fans. If we come up with stuff that's like for the fans, throw it down here. Also, speaking of the fans, Champion's release date. Following up on that, Champion Shadow Drop. I I do not believe Champions is going to be a shadow drop game. The fact that Fire Red Leaf Green is getting released on Friday tells me Champions is not also getting shadow dropped. I do think, however, we will get a new trailer, and we will get a release date. So I'm not confusing myself on Friday. Blue and green color scheme, specifically for Gen 10. Like, Champions obviously is going to have, like, the Gen 1 color scheme as well, because Game Freak is an original. But that's beside the point. But yeah, I don't think Champions is getting shadow dropped. I will include it on here because a lot of people were theorizing it. I don't think so. I think the Fire Red Leaf Green launch confirms that Champions is not being shadow dropped. Actually, let me check something here. When is Worlds this year? August. Yeah, okay. So we know that Champions is going to be used for the World Championships this year. But Worlds isn't until the end of August. So there is a very real chance that, like, oh, look, red, blue, yellow. Look at that. There's a very real chance, I think, that you might... I think we'll get the release date for Champions. I don't think that release date is probably going to be until, like, Shadow Drop, Fire Red Leaf Green. Pokopia is coming out in March. I don't think probably Champions is dropping until, like, May. Maybe even June. Like, I think we're still several months away. I think we are several months away from getting like an actual drop for Champions. But I'll throw that on there. You could say it's for the fans, but it's a plausible for the fans. Now, speaking of a game that I kind of mentioned in passing there, I think we get another trailer for Pokopia. I don't think there's anything going to be too special in it, but I think there will be a new trailer. Also, they might shadow drop a demo for Pokopia. Let's throw in a couple free things. Cafe Mix event. There'll be a new update for Pokemon Go. Fuck, what's their MOBA? Unite. Pokemon Unite. Pokemon. I think we probably also get a Switch 2 version of Unite, but I'm not including that because I think that's incredibly boring. I think literally it's gonna be a Switch 2 version that's free, and it adds like you can now play the game in 4K. I don't think there's gonna be anything special there. Alright. I'm gonna actually double back to Champions for a moment. Champions... How deeply do I want to break this apart? I don't think I want to break it apart too bad. Customization, parentheses, Monetization. I think they'll give us a confirmation that Champions is going to have paid for, like... This might be a little bit of wish casting on my part, but I want to believe that Champions is going to have, like, kind of like Pokemon Battle Revolution did, where it has trainer bases, which are just your models. Like, Revolutions had, like, default male, default female, big man, young lady. I think there's going to be obviously more than just 4. But I think there's going to be, you know, layered kind of customization where you have, like, your default model. Which is, like, you know, you, like, kid, teen, adult, buff, younger than kid. And then you'll have the extra layer, and then you also have, you know, male and female variants of each. And then you'll have clothing, obviously, where I think they'll, like, have options that are, you know, much more varied than any game has had. Like, they'll be grabbing, like, clothing from as far back as Gen 6 and as far recently as ZA. And also, they'll have, you know, limited time things where you can buy, like, a gym leader's outfit. And maybe even a coloring system for the clothes. And then there's a third layer on top of that even, which is going to be, I think, they'll let you customize your animation set. That's the one, like, I think those first two, well, okay, the first one of having different body types, that one is still, that's pretty tough in that hopium, but, clothing, that's pretty obvious it's going to have and will monetize. But I think even bigger than that is the idea that everyone isn't just going to have the same copy-pasted Gen 1 fucking ass animations. If you haven't seen me complain about them in, my, ZA streams, how come Lita gets to have this really cool, like, dancing animation set in battle, and I'm over here fucking Static Rally, I'm fucking red from 30 years ago still. For that matter, why do I have to have the stupid fucking bangle for my Mega Stone? Why can't I turn it into an earring or a fucking ghosty brooch or something, huh? Like, maybe that frustration is why I'm like, they're gonna go all out for Champions, like, trainer customization, and they're also gonna monetize the fuck out of it. Because this is a free game, lest I am mistaken, which means they have to get your money somehow. And I don't think they're going to just sell you competitive-ready Pokemon. Otherwise, they would just, you know, let people hack in Pokemon for, like, worlds and shit. The fact they don't do that tells me they're not going to do that for Champions, so what could you monetize? Well, players of games will tell you. The true endgame is fashion. And I think that's what they will monetize the fuck out of. They'll be like... It'll be the kind of thing where it's like a shop of stuff, and it's like, well, technically if you do battles, you know, you earn coins for doing battles, and you can turn those in for clothes. But also you could just buy the coins. You know, it's gonna be one of those kind of deals. Maybe you could buy, like... Actually, that would be interesting. What if every, like, player had, like, their own arena? And when you match up with another player, the game basically coin flips to determine whose arena you play in. That would be really fucking cool, actually. And, like, you could also, like, customize your arena. That's cool, actually. That's a not happening. I guess it's for the fans. Player arenas. There you go. Fuck you. It's red and blue. It's red and it's blue and it's yellow. Fuck you. Let's see. Is there anything else for champions? A lot of people are like, are they going to add a story mode to champions? I don't think they're going to add a story mode to champions. Sorry, folks. Not really. Macopia? No, that's pretty good. Go is still good. Unite is still good. Cafe Mix is still good. Oh, Pokemon Sleep. I forgot. That is an app that exists. Maybe I should, maybe my new phone, I should download Pokemon Sleep, huh? No. I still think that's a dumb app. What else is sitting out there in the world of Pokemon? Anything? I don't think there's going to be anything for TCG here. Well, actually, no. Who the fuck am I kidding? It's going to be a new TCG pack. That's the freest shit. Alright. Is it time? Do we think there'll be ZA DLC? That's a good question. I think ZA is done. I think it's a minor miracle ZA got a DLC to begin with. And from what I've heard from folks, it feels a little like they basically just had a bunch of leftover Mega Evolutions where they jumped you up in rank. It feels like these were just the missing Mega Evolutions that were supposed to be in there from like ranks F through M. It feels like these were like missing Megas that were supposed to be in there that they just kind of crammed into a DLC. Some of them don't even have like completed enemy arenas. So I don't know. I don't think we're getting more ZA DLC. Pokemon Kart Racer. Do we get a Pokemon Kart Racer before we get... Well, God, I actually just forgot Mario Kart World exists. I was gonna say, do we get a Pokemon racing game before we get a new Mario Kart? Completely forgetting we got a new Mario Kart last year. Checks if I have any soda left. Listen, I spent 2 hours at the Spectrum store. My brain is only firing on one cylinder right now. But, yeah. It is funny, just on a complete segue that I just now thought of. It's funny how I'm sitting in the Spectrum store, switching my mobile phone over to Spectrum, and then, after giving me all of the numbers necessary to make that transition, does my old cell company rep be like, would you stay if I give you $29.99 for a year? And I'll admit, if I had just been calling on my own, I might have actually bid on that. The problem is, they give you that deal way too late. Like, if you've gone through all this, odds are you're probably sitting in the new company's store. Like, you're past the point of saying, you know, on second thought, Maybe I will stay with you guys. Just a thought I had. Anyway, Pokemon. Can't believe I'm gonna actually do this. You happy? Pokken 2. Fuck you. What other dead spin-off franchises are there? Actually, that raises a good question. Hold on. Did this release yet? Okay, it has not yet. Yeah, I'm gonna actually put these down. Actually, in like the main section up here. Coliseum and XD coming to Nintendo Switch Online. That feels like an easy one. Like, alright, I guess Fire Red and Leaf Green, these idiots want you to pay $20 for, but I guarantee they aren't going to make you pay money for Coliseum and XD. Because they're not mainline generation games. So there you go. Coliseum and I'll say end or XD for the sake of this one on Friday. If even one of those happens, I'll call it a mark off. Can we get one more? Can we successfully get one more? What's another dead spin-off? Thank you, Bulbapedia, for having a whole-ass list of Pokemon spin-offs. The original one, Hey You Pikachu. Smash technically exists. There will not be a new Smash announced on Friday. That's why I put Pokken 2. TCG, I think, is locked in. That's set. New Pokemon Snap, I think, is going to be the last snap we get for, like, another 20 years again. Picross, I think, is kind of a dead concept. We haven't had a Pokemon Pinball in a long time, but I don't know if that was necessarily popular enough. Poke Park? I feel like Poke Park just was never popular enough. We did get Detective Pikachu Returns. I feel like it's too soon for more of that, though, especially because didn't Detective Pikachu Returns kind of bomb? Ah, yes, a sequel to Learn with Pokemon, Typing Adventures. A DS game that requires you to attach a keyboard. Yeah, honestly, like... I guess we'll just kind of place a wild card here. New mobile game. Just kind of a general wild card. Just the wild card, like, that card is so wild, it could be a fucking game reminding you to, like, do Tai Chi in the morning. Like, that's how weird Pokemon can get. You know? Like, there's a fucking game here about brushing your teeth. There's only so much insanity. Alright. I think it's time that we start doing it. It's time to start really writing some stuff down for Gen 10. I think... You know, I'm actually going to turn this one on its head. There's a lot of rumors going around that Gen 10 is going to retain the, like, live battle system from ZA. Most of them say that it's going to be, like, an option alongside turn-based. But what I'm going to guess here is... What do I want to term this? I have a lot of problems with the, like, live battle system from ZA. Namely, that it basically incentivizes you to just dump all of your stats into speed. And it also essentially incentivizes you to just kind of play a specific kind of chip build that doesn't work well for online. Like, if you were to put, like, a live battler up against a turn-based battler, it wouldn't work. So what I think... See, as I'm explaining this, I'm kind of piecing it together in my head. What they are going to say is turn-based online only. Now, you could say... Oh, no, I just had a better thought, actually. Hold on. No online battles. Gen 10. So many people would be fucking pissed. But there's a reason for that. If you have champions as the free method for online competitive battling, you don't need to put online battling in Gen 10 at all. The only online connection could be trading. And that's it. If you want to battle other trainers, upload your party to Pokemon Home and then send them to champions, and you can do your online battles in champions, which will be locked to turn-based battling. Whereas the game will allow a hybrid choice of either live battling or turn-based battling. I'm gonna also say this on our making Pokemon fans very, very angry tour. Dexit 2! Where they literally say, well, because we need to make all these new animations for live battling, as well as, like, Pokemon AI and all of that, for how they, like, react in a live 3D space, we have had to reduce the number of returning Pokemon again. I'm gonna be like, yeah, this new gen has like 150 new Pokemon and 150 returning Pokemon. And we hope to add more in the DLC. In fact, you know what? Day of Reveal DLC reveal. They immediately announce, well, not reveal, but like announcement. The same exact fucking day that they announced Gen 10, they also announced that they will be doing DLC for the game. Just the next step up after they did, like, essentially day one DLC, like a pre-release announcement of DLC for ZA. Fuck you. Now we're gonna announce that there's DLC on the same day we announce the game. You'll still buy it. Let's see. How else can we make Pokemon fans? This is just the make Pokemon fans angry, bro. What else can we do that makes people angry? What would be the new gimmick, do you think? Well, I guess we can't really predict the gimmick, because who the fuck would have thought a game called Scarlet and Violet's gimmick would be your Pokemon turned into fucking rocks? Who would have thought Sword and Shield's gimmick is that you get big? You know, these gimmicks are kind of these gimmicks are fucking irrelevant to their game, so we can't really predict gimmick stuff. But what we can predict is there'll be an ad in a minute. But no, I'm thinking, we could probably derive something about the gimmick by looking at the trend of past gimmicks, which is what we'll do after the ads. Gone, ads, fire off. Don't leave me hanging here. Is there anything else we could do quick that would make folks angry? That would be confirmed in the direct. Like, obviously an open world without level scaling would make people angry, but we won't know that until the game releases. Sympathetic evil team. You know, another Team Star, Team Skull, most of the teams in ZA, another something like that, where it's like, people are like, wow, we miss Team Galactic, we miss Team Plasma, we miss Team Rocket, we miss when evil teams could be unabashedly evil. Some nonsense like that. There's the ads. Alright, so yeah, we'll go over the gimmick thing after the ads. For the moment, while the ads are running, I'll step away myself. Ah, shoot, I was gonna say the ads people could have exclusive knowledge of this. This isn't even a fucking fortune. This is just a piece of advice. Many receive advice, only the wise profit by it. Stupid fortune cookie. Alright, so, gimmicks. We go back over the history of Pokemon gimmicks. This story, of course, begins in Gen 6 with Megas. A select limited number of Pokemon had access to Megas. And those Megas were generally extremely powerful. The idea was to turn Pokemon that historically hadn't been like competitive juggernauts into competitive juggernauts. Unfortunately, it created Mega Blaziken and Primal Rayquaza, who completely destroyed everything when Oraz came out. It was probably not good in like XY either, but it definitely got just completely like enshittified after Oraz came out. So, to avoid that problem, in Gen 7, they came up with Z-moves. Any Pokemon can use a Z-move, so long as the type matches. Which further enhanced the idea that any Pokemon could be good. The problem was, Z-moves were so fucking powerful they were basically a one-hit KO button. And if they weren't a one-hit KO button, then they sucked so badly no one ever used them. So, in Gen 8, they tried to thread the needle of every Pokemon can Dynamax, but Gigantamax only usable by specific kinds of Pokemon. Essentially trying to create anyone can be good, but only some can be special. Naturally, everyone only used the ones that could be special, because Gigantamaxing was just so much inherently better. So they had just accidentally recreated, with some of the same Pokemon, Mega Evolutions. Good job. So then, in Gen 9, they were like, alright, everybody can terrestrialize equally. And, to nobody's fucking surprise, it kinda sucked. Like, it was mostly used to just power... Like, the idea was that, oh, you could give your Pokemon a new type by terrestrializing them. Like, you could have a flying Pikachu. And, you know, that would throw your opponent for a loop. But no, everyone would just give their Pikachu, for instance, an electric Terra type because it powered up their already powerful stab moves. It was once again a case of Z moves where it was either you were so powerful it became a one-hit kill, or so underpowered that no one used it. Then Legend ZA came out, and if you considered like them bringing back Megas to mean something, I don't know, figure that out for yourself. But overall, I guess you could say that that means that the general like pendulum is probably going to swing back towards... Seeing as ZA has only been out for a short while, it probably swings back towards the side of Z moves. Something that all Pokemon have access. Well, no, hold on. Megas to Z moves, to Megas to Z moves. No, the pendulum should swing back towards Megas. A gimmick that only certain Pokemon have access to, but it makes those certain Pokemon that are probably, that they think are underutilized and competitive really strong. So let's say a non-universal gimmick. In fact, given that Champions is allowing for multiple gimmicks to be present at once, not necessarily used in competitive all at once, but... And given that there's a specific class of Pokemon we know won't have access to, say, Gigantamax or Mega Evolution, only new Pokemon can access the gimmick. Only the brand new Pokemon of the generation will have access to the gimmick. Or, if it's a case of, like, Dynamaxing, any Pokemon can do it. But only the new Pokemon get the cool enhanced version, which is the version everybody will want. People will, of course, complain that this means that, you know, every team has to include a new Generation 10 Pokemon. And you're right. Fuck you. Alright. I thought of something that was like an everyone would love that, but I forget what it was now. Oh, yeah, here's something. Starters. Starter reveal. Fire, water, grass. Why do I specify that, you might say? Starter reveal. New types. Well, new trio, let's say. Everyone predicts this every new generation this is going to be the generation where they get rid of, like, where they ditch fire, water, grass and go with, like, fire, ice, and lightning, or whatever the fuck. And it's like, I'm gonna say, likely, that they still, it's been 30 years, there's no reason to change now, but down there in the For the Fans, we'll toss that one down there. This is a complicated one that I'm thinking of right now, because I don't know if this one would constitute a For the Fans, or an actually plausible thing to have happen. Which means I guess I treat it like it is actually plausible. The holy grail of things that could be announced. In fact, it's so holy grail, we're going to put it in the center of this row. Just to show how important it is. In fact, no, we're going to put it at the very end. To show that it's equally important to Gen 10. Fucking voice acting. It cannot be understated how much this franchise fucking needs voice acting. Not for all cutscenes. It doesn't have to voice act literally every line of dialogue. But, like, story, like, in ZA, for instance, I feel like your interactions with team leaders, specifically team leaders, not every rank up, but specifically, like, team leaders, like, the guy from Fist of Justice, Gwyn, Kanari, Corbo, Jacinth, maybe Jacinth's underling there. Like, I think your interactions with Team MZ, so the strategy meetings, your interactions with team leaders and team lieutenants, and your interactions with Quasartico, so mostly Vinny, I think those should all have been voice acted. Everything else, you know, all those, like, early game rank ups against random fuck shows, Like, random people on the street, side quests. None of that needs to be voice acted. I'd even be on the fence about voice acting Emma. She seems pretty irrelevant to these proceedings. But maybe Emma, too. Like, critical, plot important stuff should be voice acted. The fact that we are 30 years in and this has not happened is astonishing. Like, going from just the complete silence of ZA to Time Stranger, which I think does this concept pretty well. I think Time Stranger actually misses it somewhat. There are some major story moments in Time Stranger that I still feel like should be voice acted, but they aren't. So, you know, I think, like, you can do a partially voice-acted game and still not feel like you voice-acted enough stuff. So the fact that they are choosing to voice-act nothing speaks to just a level of cheapness that their decision to charge $20 for Fire Red Leaf Green would seem like clearly they must have more money than they can, you know, hold in the palms of their hands. Why not spend some of it on getting, you know, a handful of voice actors in the booth? You already have the anime, you know? I'm sure some of the old, like, Ash's anime VAs would love to come back and actually, like, voice a character in the real game. Maybe some of the Horizons VAs. Like, I don't see why you can't do it. Like, I feel like if Gen 10 doesn't have it, it's like clearly a stylistic choice to suck. Which, again, I said it 20 minutes in. We're now about an hour and 10 in. This is not a particularly friendly to Game Freak board here. That has not changed. Voice acting remains kind of the holy grail here. Even if I know some folks who would say the exact opposite, that boy do they not want to hear, like, actual people saying the kind of nonsense that is written into a plot of a Pokemon game. On which note, I did mention it earlier, and I said we'd have to wait till the game comes out. I almost wonder if it'd be such a big deal that they would say it now. I don't think they would. I'm tempted to just put it down here. Yeah, I'm going to put it down here. Level scaling. We talked about it earlier. That's probably one of the biggest things people want to see Gen 10 do is, like, the level of things that you encounter in the world. Yeah, that's you. Yep. The level of things that people interact with in the world, scaling according to the amount of content you have done. So if there were, like, 16 pieces of content in Gen 9 between the 8 gyms, 4 star bases, and 4 or 5 titans, I forget. But there were, like, you know, like 16 to 18 pieces of content in the world. Making it a game where for every, let's say, 2 pieces of content you do, the general, like, level of difficulty in the world rises by 10, let's say. So, you know, your Route 1, you know, you were catching level 3 Weedles. Alright, you've done a gym and you've done a like an evil team battle. Now, instead of catching Weedles out there, you're catching, you know, a couple Kakunas and some Beedrills. You do 2 more, now you're catching still Beedrills, but they're 10 levels higher. And essentially, that just kind of keeps going until you've scaled up into, like, the 60s. And, like, especially for, like, enemy encounters. Like, you should be able to go to a gym leader. He's your first gym leader you fight. And he throws out, you know, a level 15 and a level 20. Alright, you beat him. He gives you a badge that goes in the 7th badge slot. You're like, well, fought him earlier than I was supposed to. Go fight another gym leader. Or a couple gyms later, you fight a gym leader, and they're throwing out, you know, a 30, a 31, and a 35. You beat them, and they give you the first badge. You're like, holy shit, that was what I was supposed to do first? Oops. Like, that's what I mean by level scaling. I think that's such a asked-for feature that it might be something that they outright confirm in the Direct. I don't think so. I think we're going to have to probably get the game in our hands to know level scaling exists. But it is asked for enough that I think maybe they do it. What else? We need some more Gen 10 stuff. Obviously avoiding the two major things that leaked. I have an oddball one here. Which is fine. We need some oddball stuff. Ride Pokemon Returns. This one just sticks in my head because this is a system that Time Stranger has, where you can ride on your Digimon. It doesn't do anything in particular. It basically just constitutes you have a permanent sprint active, which is still useful. And I think if you, like, run into things, like, if you run into breakable items, it just automatically breaks them for you. I think still running into an enemy doesn't count as, like, a preemptive hit. It just counts as, oh, that's all, that playlist is done. Alright, we'll do actual Pokemon now. It just counts as you running into an enemy still. But that's alright. That's alright. I think doing something like that could make sense. So, I have to kind of predicate that a little bit of my thought on this comes from a thing that has been leaked about Gen 10. But I don't think it's ever been confirmed that, like, how this leaked system works. So my thought is, you know, what if you could just get on... What if instead of, like, in Gen 7, where it was, like, you dial up the Rentatoros, or you dial up the fucking, like, Renta Sharpedo? What if instead, you just, oh, you have a... Kind of like in Legend ZA, honestly, where, like, oh, you have a water-type Pokemon in your party. You get up to the edge of the water, and it's like, yeah, you just hit, like, ZR, and you just hop on your you're standing in the shallows of the water, you hit ZR, you just hop on your fucking Larpus. Or, you know, you're roaming around the mountains, you just press ZR, and you get on your Ponyta. And you can now ride around fast, or, you know, maybe you can hop on a bird, and kind of like in Legends Arceus, you could use the bird as a gliding system. To glide to faraway places. Like, that could be really fun. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Because I don't expect anything good to happen in Gen 10. But it would be fun. It would definitely make me more intrigued to buy the game. Speaking of, I don't expect anything fun to happen. Why is this playlist so loud? Speaking of, I don't expect fun to happen. I have to put a quote around this one, because this is a fandom reaction thing. Yeah, that's more like it. The fandom will watch this direct and watch this reveal, and they shall say, upon the skies of blue. Why is this not on Switch 1? Like, I think this game is going to look awful. I have no belief that they will ever make a good-looking Pokemon game. This game is going to look ass. It's going to look like... I think it might look the exact same as Gen 9. I think it will look worse than ZA. And people will look at this and go, why is this on Switch 2? You cannot tell me you couldn't have got this running on Switch 1. And everyone will immediately just be like, yeah, it was definitely designed as a Switch 1 game, and then they got, you know, a Switch 2 dev kit, and we're told, alright, this is Nintendo. You need to put this game on Switch 2 because we need to sell more units, goddammit. Alright, one more square. Let's try and be positive. Let's try and be positive. I want to be negative. I want to say something like, only Gen 1 and new Pokemon are in Gen 10. I want to say that. But we're not going to be mean. We'll use our last one to be nice. What is another nice thing that people want that I think could happen? Why is Driftvale City in a winter playlist? Isn't that a desert? Man, I don't know. Like... part of me wants to say, like... I don't want to say Poke MMO. Because that's not the right phrasing. But, like, an expanded online. They kind of started on it with Gen 9, but Gen 9 performed like dog shit, so they didn't, like, increment on it at all. But, like, the idea of an online system... They got close to it in Gen 8, actually, and walked back a fair bit of it for Gen 9. Where, like, you can see other players if you are connected to the internet. Like, I don't think you'd be able to, like, chat with them or anything, but, like, you would be able to see, like, other players running around in the game world. Is it literally one-to-one-ing what they're actually doing? Maybe not. Maybe it's just, you know, oh, this, you open up online and it's like, it beams out to the world. Joe is on Route 9. Like, it doesn't, like, literally say it in your game, but it sends it to the servers. Joe's on Route 9. So then everybody who then pings the server, like, within a certain time of that, has a percentage chance that Joe appears as, like, a just kind of, like, doing a canned walk somewhere on, like, Route 9. Maybe even, like, this is probably a little bit too much, but, like, maybe it even uses that instead of, like, preset trainers. Like, instead of, you know, that one spinner on the side of the road that everybody knows, it's, you know, Bug Catcher Jimmy. It's, you know, the game pings. Game pings and goes, give me somebody who is on this route right now. And it sends back, like, a player. It says, like, their name, their appearance data, and maybe, like, well, probably not their team, but it sends, like, their name and appearance data back. And Bug Catcher Jimmy is instead Bug Catcher, that player's name, with their appearance, doing the spinning on the side of the road. Something like that, you know? Like, it's not a real Poke MMO, but it feels a little more Poke MMO. It's like fake multiplayer, almost. It's funny I say no online battles and expanded online. Truly, Gen 10 is a gen where, other than, like, the two things that have leaked, which are, like, the names and the region inspiration, truly everything else is just... God help us. We don't know what it's going to be, but we could pretty easily guess we're going to hate it. Also, I think that's all of our slots then. Yep, look at all that stuff. Alright, let's... Oh, fine, I'll make it a public card. Fuck you. Please print for me. Only print 8 cards. Well, alright. Alright. Very nice of them to understand what a free space is. Alright, so let's pick a card to use. The biggest thing is I don't want anything that's conflicting. Good news, there's no conflict there. What's the other one? Champion's release date. There's no conflict. Good. So card 1 is valid. Card 2... is valid. Card 3... is not valid. As both starters on the same line. Card 4 is not valid. Card 5 is valid. Card 6 is not. Card 7 is not. And card 8 is... No, card 8 is not. Never mind. Missed that. So there's only 3 valid cards here. We got this one, card 1, Poke 2, Day of Reveal, DLC announcement, a new TCG pack, sleep update, voice acting, blue and green color scheme for Gen 10, Pocopia demo, level scaling, Go update, Ride Pokemon return. Card 1 looks pretty good. Card 2 has Coliseum and XD. Alright, yep, that's on it. Card 1 notably doesn't have the arena stuff on it. Card 2 does, which does make me a little interested. Yeah, card 2 would be pretty good. I'm thinking card 2. What's card 6 got? Here's the release date. Card 2 have... Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with card 2. Card 2 there. New TCG pack. Day of Reveal DLC announcement. Pokemon Unite gets a new Mon. Champion Shadow drops. And Coliseum or XD comes to Switch Online. Ride Pokemon return. Why is this not on Switch 1? Voice acting, a new mystery dungeon, a new trio of types for the starters. A look at Champions customization, aka monetization. Champions having, like, player customizable arenas. Pokemon Sleep gets an update, Pokemon Go gets an update. Starters get revealed and they are the typical Fire, Water, Grass trio. Gen 10 is there. That would have been the free space had it not been for Fire Red Leaf Green on Switch 2. Level scaling existing. An expanded online system. A release date for Champions that isn't a Shadow Drop. A new mobile game. A demo for Pokopia. They outright confirm that they are pruning the number of Pokemon again. We gotta look at the evil team and they're sympathetic. And the game's color scheme is blue and green. That's what's gonna be on our board for Friday. Now... let's see. With that done, should we do a little bit of randomizer nonsense here before we are done? I know that's impossible. I do have a small issue though. Yeah. I was afraid of... I had a weird issue with my computer yesterday, and it did eat my information for Peak. I think. Like, it didn't, like, eat my progress or anything, but it did eat... I had saved my information on, like... what to... like, how to activate my mods for Peak. So I am going to have to re-enable those. So we're not going to be able to do Peak. What else do we have? That we might be able to do quick. Just, you know, a quick little in and out hop. I guess we did get some stuff for Majora's Mask. We could hop in there quick. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that quick. We can hop into Majora's Mask. That I believe is still open here somewhere. Oh, failed to connect. Hold on, I know why. We need to restart the server. There. Okay, so yeah, the big thing is we got a couple new masks. Unfortunately, one of those new masks is the bunny hood. Which does, unfortunately, put the postman into logic. Much as I don't want it to be true. You open 10? Hey, dodge roll! Alright, that makes Kingdom Hearts actually viable. That was weird. Alright, let's stop you guys' fight too while we're here. Oh! Money! That I immediately threw on the floor, but at least that's 300 rupees I can get every cycle. It could be worse. He's still out and about. Actually, hold on. I bought everything? Yes. I would have fucking everything in my bank before I even find a wallet at this rate. Oh shoot, I was inverted. I was like, I don't think my thing's supposed to be glowing like that. It wasn't. There he goes. Okay, so just write it in. Evans and the wife are watching. Okay, evening is practice. Okay. You could make a very unfortunate emote out of this man. I was close. Hold on, let me go get money. I wonder if doing it while inverted actually makes the timer slower. I'll try. Boom! All that for a scout effigy. Alright, I don't have to fear that at least. That's good. Anything else we can do right now? We are a hook shot away from having access to Akana. And that makes me think I've missed a hook shot somewhere. I think we've done everything we can up in north. Ads? No, they aren't. I'm delaying that. I think I might be wrapping up here soon. We did everything we could in the swamp. Well, actually, no, we haven't. is technically one thing we can do. As I can check your shop. I'll take the yarn. Are there any red potions for sale in town? You know what? I'm not gonna waste my time on that. And we can use that to go heal the witch. I also have the Picto box, so I can also do that. There's one more thing I can do. Well, hopefully that is good enough. Doesn't say good picture of Tingle, but it does say picture of Tingle. Mushroom Cup! Dang it, I hit B instead of A. At least it's quick. They did in fact speed up the... Holy shit. Go again! Alright, well, Mushroom Cup was something at least. Did I move what was up here already? Yes. Yes, I did. Cool. Well, I got a couple somethings done at least. We did technically confirm. We did what we said we would do. We did a little bit of Multiworld after one game. Only like 6 checks, but it was 6 checks. Now, Twitch really wants me to run an ad in like 3 minutes. And I don't want to run an ad in 3 minutes. So, I don't want to run an ad in 3 minutes. So, frankly, I'm just going to get on out of here right now. Quick, bail before Twitch forces us to run an ad. Be the worst thing in the world, running an ad. But yeah, we made our little bingo card. Started a little late because obviously I was taking care of some stuff, but you know, it all worked out in the end. The stream was beautiful. I don't think we really had any kind of major dropping issues. Well, the bitrate was a little all over the board. What else is new there? No health issues on the YouTube side. So yeah, I think, yeah, 5K bitrate, we're pretty good. Which is good, because then we can abuse this fact on Friday, when we play more Time Stranger. And then Monday with ZA, but let's be honest, Pokemon isn't a game that's bitrate reliant. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. There's 2 minutes before Twitch wants me to run an ad, so I gotta get out of here. Otherwise, it'll run the ad. Bye!